Welcome back to the Artist Spotlight for Run Radio. I'm Trina Wilcox. My guest today, Ollie Read. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So you've got quite a lot of experience in a very short lifespan thus far. So tell me why, and this is your own words, that you were pretty badly behaved as a teenager, but you still have accomplished so much that seems like you'd have to be pretty disciplined to do so. So work that out for me.
Yeah, I guess when I was younger, as you say, I was pretty poorly behaved, but I was fortunate enough to when I was in my teens go to a school that it was on the River Thames. I'm here in London at the minute. It was on the River Thames, and it had a rowing club, and they took it quite seriously. Although it was like a state school, it was free to go there. You didn't have to pay. They still took it quite seriously. And so as a tall guy, when I was in my teens, I was kind of ended up doing that, and it kind of taught me this discipline, because me and my team, we ended up being quite successful, and it kind of taught me to put in this hard work and the success that came out of it. And so that kind of put me on this path, down, kind of obsessing over little bits over the next few years of my life. And yeah, it was that rowing that kicked it off.
So you kicked off, you did the rowing, and then you've gotten into earth science, mining, you've been in TV, you've done production. So, what drew you to such an eclectic field of studies and action?
I guess it's quite a good question. Like, what drew me to it? I think it's more just the fact that I was interested, and I thought, why the hell not?
Yeah, yeah.
So I ended up stopping rowing after being two-time national champion, international gold medalist, when I was hit by a car, and I messed up my shoulder. I had to have reconstruction surgery. It was a pretty bad time, that I was having with that. But I kind of I didn't want to just give up on it all, and so that kind of that drove me to try and do more. And I thought, I'm I don't want to give up. I have that mindset of I got to succeed with whatever I do. I want to put in 110%. And so, with the rowing, I did that. And then after I finished the rowing, I did cycling, and I
Mhm.
got to being a professional cyclist, doing some of the uh, elite races in Europe, and then doing earth science. But doing all this spread of things just because I wanted to, and I
Uh-huh.
didn't want to be held back, essentially.
That's great. So when you got into cycling, you would almost think that with your background, your career might have moved you to be a professional athlete, like long term. How did that change, and why did you turn to music instead of some of these other things that you could have or might still?
So I guess with the cycling, it was it was a really tough profession to get into, and I did make it to the highest tier. But I guess it was a mix of mental health, and also physical health, because cycling is such an endurance based sport, and you're kind of, when you get to that highest level, you're on this tightrope, between being the fittest you've ever been in your life or getting ill
Yeah.
and overtraining, kind of pushing your body to those extremes. And it got to the point where I thought, you know what, I need to know when to stop.
Hmm.
when to move on to the next thing, because I was starting to get a bit ill, starting to obsess a bit too much over it, and that's, I kind of moved on to the next chapter of my life, and I thought I was ready to do that. Perhaps you could say it's a pretty bad personality trait of mine to kind of not settle on any one thing and move on and get bored. Um, but yeah, and then I moved on to doing music and television production. So I'm a TV producer right now, and I've been lucky enough to work on some pretty amazing shows, making documentaries for the likes of Netflix, BBC, CBS, and other British channels. But then the music, it was sort of, I'd always learned to be a musician, I guess, throughout my early life. Parents had kind of forced me to play the piano, that kind of thing, and I hated it back then. But I'd kind of grown up with this musical mind, and then one day, and I would do this thing where I'd be like in the kitchen making food, or like in the shower or whatever, and like, you'd hum these songs, and I'd be like, oh, I wish I could make this. Like, I could make this into a song. And one day, I think it was during the pandemic, I had a lot more free time than I would normally, and I devoted a lot of time to just being like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna teach myself to learn how to produce music, and I did it, and now it is a passion for me now.
That's excellent. What I have to ask though, what does your fitness and health and wellness routine look like now? Are you still a very active person? Because I know a lot of musicians love to be active to spark their creativity. Is that you?
Yeah, I would say it's less about sparking creativity and more just knowing that healthy balance in lifestyle, because with television, with music, there's a lot of quite unsociable hours.
Mhm.
And you can fall into this trap of being unhealthy in your lifestyle, whether that's sleep or what you eat, or you know music, a lot of parties and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
it's finding that nice balance um of eating well, going to the gym, kind of keeping this healthy body, because it's like, I guess it sounds really cliche, but it's that healthy body, healthy mind.
Mhm. Very much so. What does it look like on a regular day for you when it's a music day? How does that work? Or are there dedicated days? Is it more of a just spontaneous for you?
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a bit of a mix. So some days where I don't have work,
Yeah.
television work to do, I will get up um and sit down in front of my computer and start working on music, whether that's composing or mixing and mastering something I've previously done, because I think the mornings are the most important time for me personally. But also, you speak to other musicians and producers, because it's your ears are the freshest.
Mhm.
So you can hear the most. Like when you're in the day and you've had all like the cars, the other music, you've been listening to the TV, you've been speaking to people, it it kind of corrupts your ears a bit. So
Mhm.
you become muted to some frequencies, things need to be a little bit louder. So in the morning you kind of feel the freshest, you can hear the best. And also I feel kind of most awake. So so
Cool.
I like
Interesting.
to work then.
Do you like working solo or collaborations better?
So I would say a mix. Most of the time I do things solo,
Mhm.
but actually my latest release, which I released last month, was a collaboration. between myself and a couple of other DJs. And this was completely new to me when I'd done it, this whole collaborative process of like bouncing between each other. But I feel like now that I've done it, I want to do it so much more.
Cool.
Because you'll help each other, you'll give each other different ideas that you might not normally have. Like the song that I've just released, Supernova, it was different to anything that I would normally release or compose by myself. But we were able to draw each other's ideas and influences together and to make this product, which is actually quite special. And it's it got to number 10 on the dance release charts. It got to number 2 on the charts for melodic techno. So it did really well. But it's that success of like having everyone together, kind of helping each other. I feel that's what really drove the success of it. So I love it.
So you're hoping to repeat that. Very cool.
Exactly, yeah.
What is next for you? An entire album or more singles?
Yeah, so I think at the minute I'm planning to get out a couple more singles. Just because I'm quite new to it. I've had a bit of success in my short time within music production and DJing, but I am still quite new to it, and I'm trying to put my footprint on the scene. I'm trying to establish myself, kind of push the sounds that I want to get out there. So more singles, just kind of getting lots of people, lots of tunes that they can listen to, and just get my music heard.
Do you perform your songs a lot?
Yeah, so it would be DJing gigs. So here in London, I most recently I performed at there's a club called Brixton Jam. It's kind of like you get invited to DJ, you kind of like go around and try and sell yourself as well because it's music, so it's quite difficult. But yeah, when I DJ live, I do like to play my own stuff, especially unreleased stuff as well.
Yeah.
Because I like to use that as getting a feel for what's good. Yeah. So, if I see the audience are like really bored and like, people leaving the dance floor, I'm like, okay, right, I'm never releasing that song.
Right.
or it's got a bit of work to go, and I'll change it pretty quickly. But if people suddenly start vibing to it, dancing, then I'll be like, okay, I'm on something here.
That's exciting. All right. Is there anything I haven't thought to ask that we should know about Ollie Read?
No, so I think, yeah, I mean, what I kind of want to get across as well is to people who might also be in my situation or have been in my situation of kind of like taking that jump into a new profession, and trying to make success out of it. And I kind of want to just say to all your listeners is just give it a go. Yes. And keep on at it. Because whether or not it was the rowing, it's the cycling, it's the TV, it's the music, getting into the charts. These are things that I never thought when I started. I never thought I would be able to do it. Or I'd have to have really rich, famous parents to be able to do it. But enough time, effort, energy, and believing in yourself as well, and then you can do it.
Persistence is definitely important in all of those things that you just talked about. Is there a particular ingredient, whether it be courage or the persistence, that you would tell someone to do when they are hesitating or they don't think they have the right connections? What would you say to that person that's like, no, I can't, I'm not connected here, or I'm not talented enough here?
I would say it is certainly something that I have thought.
Mhm.
plenty of times, you know, especially with music. Coming from a complete non-musical background or profession, I've certainly had points where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know any of the connections, anything like that. But there's always that chance that something could happen. You could meet the right person. You could, your music could get in the ears of the right person. You know, you're actually noticed, and all it takes is that one time, and then, you know, it snowballs and it keeps on going. So you could have a year, 2 years, years of like just keep on trying. But all it takes is that once, and that could make you.
Very good. Where can folks go to learn more about you and your music?
So if you head over to my Instagram, is Ollie Read Music. READ is how you spell read. And also you can find me on Spotify, Facebook as well. But yeah, hit me up. Ask me anything. I'm always open to a chat. And I really hope you enjoy the music as well.
Yes, and send us more when you make more and come back anytime.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.